Howdy, folks. It is DIECASTS Buffet here again, and a crazy finish to the Texas All-Star race saw Ryan Blaney getting his first All-Star win in a very, very cool-looking paint scheme. Make sure to get your 124 scale race win diecast there. It's got the Wrangler colors on it. A lot of people like the Wrangler Menards cars that he's driven throughout the years, but he finally won a race in it, and let me tell you, there's a lot to talk about with this, so make sure to go ahead and pre-order that 124. Not sure if they're going to be offering a 164, but either way, you can go and pre-order that over there at Circle Diecast. Make sure use the promo code DIECAST Buffet. Any orders $30 or more, you'll save on shipping. So anyways, Ryan Blaney gets it done after a crazy finish there. There's a lot of controversy. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., did he really bring out the caution? Do they just throw it for entertainment purposes? Truth be told, they probably should have thrown one earlier in the race because it looked like it was probably more debris on the racetrack and they didn't throw it. They let him race, so no doubt about it. They tried to get the caution out before he got to the stripe so they could have another restart. I will admit, it definitely spiced things up because the last stretch of that race was really bad. And it's not because of the Gen 7 car. No, it's the racetrack. And you can ask any fan. Since 2017, the new configuration of Texas Motor Speedway has not been good. I mean, think about it. All the PJ1, the traction compound, whatever they've been using, not only for stock cars, but even for open-wheel cars at Texas Motor Speedway, the racing has suffered. Single groove, you can't run the outside. Look at Texas Motor Speedway in 14, 15, and 16 compared to like 2017, 18, 19. There's a significant difference right there. And in terms of the open wheel side, they cannot run the outside more times than not without crashing. And I feel like having a single groove racetrack is not really good, especially with the Gen 7 race car. And you add in the flat 1 and 2 and the high bank 3 and 4. I feel like that hurts both ends of the track. You have less speed on the back straightaway, which makes 3 and 4 not as aggressive. And obviously you can't keep that speed in 1 and 2. That being said, I think the All-Star race was a little bit more tame, a little bit more mundane than it could have been if it had the original configuration. We saw the Gen 7 car just absolutely have a fantastic show at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, even Kansas, right? I feel like if Atlanta didn't have the Super Speedway package, we would have saw the same thing there at Atlanta. Gen 7 is arguably one of the best generation cars in terms of 1.5 mile racing, so I think they're not to blame for the lack of hard racing and passing. I truly do believe it's just the track configuration itself, and that brings it to my next point, guys. What do y'all think? A lot of people do not like the new Texas track. They haven't liked it for years, both IndyCar and NASCAR fans. A lot of people are saying, should the All-Star race move? I think there's a lot of people wanting that. Maybe North Wilkesboro. Maybe we possibly see it go to another short track. Who knows? Could be going to Nashville. But I definitely do expect the All-Star race to move in the coming years. If it was up to me, though, they need to repave the track, reconfigure 1 and 2 back to the original, banking, and just get rid of that traction compound on the track they've had for years. And I promise you, this All-Star race would have been 10 times better. So I'm just going to put that out there. This is not the Gen 7 car's fault. This is what the track we have nowadays. In terms of the overall race, though, the biggest highlight, no doubt about it to me, is going to be the crash when Kyle Busch had a tire go down, and then Ross Chastain going on 2 wheels, collecting fan favorite Chase Elliott there. That's going to be a replay you're probably going to see on the next for the next Texas Motor Speedway commercial for probably the next 7 years. They're going to re-show that exact clip every single commercial because it was that much of a highlight. Crazy crash right there, yo. My honest take on that. Imagine that you go out there, you're Kyle Busch, you get the pole from Saturday night. You go out there, you're dominating, and then you have a tire go flat. I will say, though, I think Kyle Busch should have stayed in the outside lane, picked a lane and stayed there. It seemed like he went to the wall, and then he went down to the infield. Look, when you're on the front straightaway of Atlanta, Texas, Charlotte Motor Speedway, it's a really interesting configuration. It's like a dog leg, right? And the way the groove works, you go up to the wall, you go back down to the infield, and you go back up to the wall. So essentially, Kyle Busch ran the exact same racing line most of the drivers would run. If you've raced any of the NASCAR video games, you would know. If you've watched NASCAR racing the past 20 years, you would know. So I feel like Kyle Busch, maybe his spotter told him to go low, but I feel like he could have done a much better job getting out of the way. I'm assuming it's his spotter not being able to react to information fast enough, which it happens, but that could have been easily avoidable for Ross Chastain. It was a very big hit, and of course Chase Elliott just enters a bystander there, but it was still awesome to see. And then the Ryan Blaney window net situation. I truly thought for a second they were going to make the 12th car come down pit road, properly fasten the window net, and then have them go back on the racetrack from the tail on the longest line. I tell you what, though, that right there, if they would have pulled Blaney from the lead, this race would have started it would have been so much controversy. It would have been a very bad week for the press of the NASCAR universe. So great job on them for making the right call, giving him time to fix it. Personally, what I would have done, I would have just said, come down pit road, let one of the crew members fix it, and get him back on the racetrack. Because I think a very common example of this would be each car has a transponder in it that they monitor where they're at on the racetrack. Everything's done electronically. So if it's not working, they just call that car down pit road, they fix it, they change it out, whatever it may be, and they give them right back on the racetrack because it's something out of their control. Blaney had no idea the caution probably came out before then. He probably thought the race was over, and, it happens. But I'm impressed that Blaney was actually able to fix it, and I believe it stayed up throughout the 2-lap, portion there. So my honest opinion on it, should they have thrown a caution? Probably no, but I still love to see more cautions. The more restarts, the more parity. It was a dry spell at the end of the All-Star race, so I'm glad they did throw one. Is this something I would like to see in points races down the road? I'll be honest with you, maybe. I think it adds a little bit more excitement. I know a lot of people are not going to like that, but they do it in ARCA, right? If it's on the white flag, if a caution comes out, you're guaranteeing the fans to have a finish. And I really, really think the fans always should have a finish. I don't like the idea of ending races under yellow unless it's weather-related. I would be okay if they added it to the points races. Having a caution on the white flag gives them a restart. I know it's a very contrarian opinion, but I do like it in the ARCA races because I don't want to see a Talladega race that's been hyped up end under a caution because someone blew a little tire on the back straightaway. It ruins the finish, and if you're a fan that traveled across the country to go see that, it's extremely disappointing. So I would be okay with that moving forward. However, it's a big win for Blaney. The Penske cars dominated when Kyle Busch fell the race. It was genius what they did. They had Austin Cindric that got the track position with the stage win, and then you had Logano with the pit stop competition, and they just let Blaney win the final stage, and they pretty much had it made. I was like, okay, yeah, one of the Penske cars are going to win the race. They had the top 3 positions. The 22 and the 2 weren't as good. I believe it's because of the clean air, but the 12 car was really stout. Now, in my opinion, this race, in terms of racing product, was not good. The only thing that really kept it going was the battle of attrition. You go to Vegas, you go to Atlanta, or whatever it may be, or more likely it'd be Kansas, not Atlanta. And you see with the Gen 7 car, it has the battle of attrition. You have the large amount of cautions, but you also have the fantastic racing that happens laps and laps after the restart. We saw none of that, and I truly believe it is the track that was the problem for that. So my point being is that Gen 7's not to blame. I thought the racing was really good at those other 1.5 miles, and it suffered here, so I don't know, man. What can they do to fix it? I mean, there's so much to talk about here, guys. I don't want to make this video too long, but I don't know, man. I just really, really wish the racing was better at the end here. But I'm happy Blaney won it, right? I would have been really upset if Hamlin won it or someone based on a window net. I mean, let's just be honest. If Austin Cindric won this race, I would never hear the end of it that he won it because of a window net and let's be honest, a Mickey Mouse caution at the end. So there's a lot to unpack here. I think everyone's going to have their own opinion on it, but I'm glad they didn't black flag Blaney. I think they should have just let him come down pit road, fix it real quick, get him back on the racetrack. Texas absolutely needs a repave. They need to go back to the old Texas configuration, get rid of the traction compound that has plagued the IndyCar and NASCAR races there for many years. Get rid of that, fix it up, and I promise you the attendance will go right back up when you have great open wheel and stock car racing there. But for the All-Star, I don't know, man. my final thoughts here. I know I'm kind of all over the place right now. My final thoughts with this. It seems like for the better part of the last 10 All-Star races I've watched, it always comes down to one final restart. And whoever's on the front row, they win it by, turn 2. It's over, right? 10-lap shootout for the win. And then they pass whoever's in second, coming off turn 2, and the race is over. And then they spend the next 9 laps filling airtime. That's pretty much what they do. I do believe that if we would have had this race, perhaps at Vegas, at I don't know, Kansas, Chicagoland, whatever, it would have been a much better finish, and they would have had at least some competitive racing. But yeah, just something about the All-Star race, man. It has not been good, in my opinion, the last decade, pretty much since Gen 6 came about. So I'm hoping they can fix that a little bit. I still believe it's just the racetrack. If they moved it, it's okay with me. But yeah, I just feel like the racing was not that good tonight, though. But the racing was helped a little bit by the crashes. So kind of all over the place. So much to talk about here, guys. Again, I'm all over the place. Anyways, what I do know is that the race to win diecast is going to be incredible. I can already see people when they get the race win diecast, they're gonna take the window net and they're gonna modify it, and you're gonna see people make raced versions or make the window net look like it was folded up as it was on the final lap or those pace laps. So that's gonna be pretty interesting there. But make sure to go ahead and pre-order your Ryan Blaney All-Star Race Win card. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to leave your comments down below, guys. Yeah. It was interesting. I'm much more looking forward to the Coke 600 and the Indianapolis 500. Hopefully Jimmy Johnson has a good run there. But yeah, I think the Coke 600, guys, is going to be incredible. Think about it. 400 laps, 600 miles, Charlotte Motor Speedway, no gimmicks, Gen 7 1.5 mile racing. I think it is going to be possibly, it has a chance to be the best race of the year considering how many cautions we have at these 400-mile races. So it's going to be good, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great one, everybody. Diecast Buffet, signing off.